So, hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial video. Today I am going to walk you through a complete project, an AI blog post generator, also called BlogGenius AI. This application uses a front end built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and a backend built with Node.js and Express. It integrates with the Gemini API to integrate blog posts based on user inputs. So let's dive in. Now I will share my screen and I will cut my face from now on.
So, in this project, we have a few key files. Here we have our index.html, our main HTML file that defines the interface, our styles.css. This file handles all the styling for our page. Script.js contains our frontend and JavaScript logic for handling user interactions. Our server.js set up our Express server and handles our API requests, and finally a .env file where we store our Gemini API key securely. Each of these plays an important role, so let's break down into each of these. Now, when we look at this in our index.html, we start with the basic HTML5 structure. We include a head section with meta tags for character encoding and viewport settings. We also link our external CSS file to style the page. The body is divided into a container that holds a header section with a title of our name of the project, our BlogGenius AI, and input section. Also in the BlogGenius AI, here is a short description for our project here, and there is also an input section where the user can enter a topic or keywords, choose a blog post length from a drop down, and click a button to generate the post. Here you can see we have a placeholder with our enter topic or keywords. Also we have three options. We have short with max 300 words, our medium in 600 words, and in 1000, which is we are calling a long. And then we have a generate button to generate our blog post, and then a loading spinner that shows while the post is being generated. You can see here while we do the spinner, it will show that generating your blog post. And finally an output section that displays the generated blog post along with controls to copy or download the content. You can see that it will download as a Markdown file, and this structure ensures that the user experience is intuitive and straightforward. Now we move to our styles.css. Here the styles.css file is where all our styling happens. We start with our reset by setting margin, padding, and box sizing for all elements. The body has a subtle background and standard font settings. We are actually not focusing much on the designing at this point. We will try to upgrade that later on, but till now we are keeping it minimalist and mainly focusing on our more the project itself. The container is styled with maximum width centered on the page, with padding and a gentle box shadow to create a card-like appearance. Notice how we style our header, input fields, buttons, and even our loading spinner. The spinner uses keyframe animations to rotate, giving the user a visual cue that something is happening. This clean design contributes to a great user experience. Now, let us move to our script.js. Here, which is the interactively functionality is built. Here we have our event listeners and we have our DOM elements at the beginning. We wait for the DOM to load. We then grab references various elements like the generate button, the copy button, the download button, the topic input, and many more. Then we handle the generate button. When the generate button is clicked, the script checks if the user has entered a topic. If not, it shows an alert. Once a valid topic is provided, the loading spinner is displayed and the output section is hidden. The script then makes a post request to our backend endpoint in the generate blog with the topic and the selected length. And then we fetch and display the blog post. Here you can see on receiving a response, the returned Markdown content is converted into HTML using a simple Markdown to HTML converter function. This function handles headings, paragraphs, bold and italic text, and even lists. The generated HTML is even injected into the page. The loading spinner is hidden and the output section is revealed. Now, here comes our copy and our download feature. The copy button uses the clipboard API to allow users to quickly copy and generated content. The download button creates a blob from the content and automatically downloads it as a Markdown file with the file name derived from the topic. The JavaScript file is essential as it ties the user interface to the backend functionality, ensuring that everything flows smoothly from input to output. Now comes our final most interesting part, our server.js. This file sets up an Express server to serve our static files and handle API requests. Here in our server setup, we import required modules like Express, body parser, Axios for our HTTP requests, and .env to handle environment variables. The server listens on a specified port, defaulting to 3000. Now, how we controlled the /generate blog endpoint. When the frontend makes a request, the server extracts the topic and desired blog length from the request body. Based on the length, it sets an approximate word count, such as is it 300 or 1000 or 600. Now, preparing the prompt. A prompt is constructed that instructs the Gemini API to generate a structured blog post. This prompt includes details such as the title, introduction, body sections, conclusion, and formatting in Markdown. You can see here we give it a proper prompt. You can pause the video at this moment and you can read it later on. Now we call the Gemini API. We use Axios to post our prompt to the Gemini API endpoint. Notice that we set the temperature and max output tokens in our request to control the style and length. Here you can see our temperature and our max output tokens. to control the style and length of the generated content. And now comes our returning the content. Finally, the generated blog post content is extracted from the API response and sent back to the frontend as a JSON. This backend logic is critical because it bridges over application with the AI service that creates the blog content. Now let us switch to our project to see how it mainly actually works. So here we are in our BlogGenius AI. It is totally working on our Gemini API. It has three functionality. It has short, medium, and long. Now, when if I tell it to write a blog on, let's write a blog on itself. Let's say write a blog on our topic. Let's say Gemini. I want to keep it in let's say short. Let's try to generate a blog post. You can see here it is showing the spinner. It is showing the generating your blog post. Now let us hold some moments. Yeah, you see decoding Gemini, Google's multimodal marvel. You see how easy it is. You can now write a blog with the help of Gemini. It is totally worth it. Now let's say I want to create a blog on, let's say, Google, or let's say a random topic something. Let's say I want to create my own country, let's say Bangladesh. I want to create a blog on Bangladesh. It can be long one. Let's create one, generate. Let's see what it creates for us. I am also eager that how much it will create or what it is going to create for us. Let's see, let us wait. Yeah, discovering the magic of Bangladesh, a journey through the land of rivers. We all know Bangladesh is a riverine country, right? So it is, you can use it for, like, you want to learn about anything. You can just go on to or create something like this, and voila, you got yourself a best blog for you. So that wraps up our deep dive into the AI blog post generator project.
So, how was it? That wraps up our deep dive into the AI blog post generator project, or our BlogGenius AI. We saw how the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript work together on the front end to create a dynamic interface, and how the Express server communicates with the Gemini API on the back end to generate content. This project is a great example of full stack application that leverages modern APIs to deliver a powerful user experience. I hope you found this walkthrough helpful. If you have any questions or need further clarification, feel free to drop a comment below. Thanks for watching. Happy coding.